This whole episode is about making more cash money.
Yes.
Everyone wants to do it. No one wants to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. Hey there, guys, and welcome to another episode of VIVE Group Podcast with myself, Tye and Wykie, CEO and head shortass of VIVE Group, and vertically blessed, head of all things in Australia, New Zealand, and now the Middle East, apparently.
Bless up.
Wykie Etzebeth. What's up, buddy?
Good, man. I'm feeling good. Feeling
good.
cold on the Gold Coast, believe it or not. Got my puffer
chilly.
jacket on.
Yeah, it's a little chilly. You know, one of my great regrets in life is I can't pull off a puffer jacket.
Yeah.
I've tried. See, I'm too short and wide, and the puffer jacket just makes me wider. I look like a Michelin man with bits of it missing. Just a partial Michelin man, a stump of a Michelin man.
Yeah. We only get to wear them maybe a week or two here on the Goldie, but so I do embrace it when it's time for it.
Go for it, man. Dude, I'm excited about today. We're bringing value. We're not just going to talk shit. We're going to talk, here's our promise, we're going to talk zero shit about HQ today.
I never talked shit about anyone.
Dude, what you were saying the other day, get a few beers in this guy. He drops some 4-letter words. No, today, guys, this whole episode is about making more cash money.
Yes.
Everyone wants to do it. No one wants to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it because it's not that hard. It's not that simple, but it's not that hard. There's just a few little bits and pieces, and we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of mindset that goes around it. There's a lot of limiting mindsets that I think we need to address and try and break through. Just challenge a few mindsets. I think it's the main thing. Like I think, we all know the practical ways to make money, but I think sometimes this the way we think about it is the thing that limits us or stops us from actually actioning, the things that we know we should do.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you guys the 5 ways to make more money. That sounds as clickbaity as you could ever hope, but I promise you we are actually going to give you real things that work. But first, let's talk about that. Let's talk about mindset, because for me, that's the number one problem with business owners or people in general. I can't remember the last time I met a box owner who didn't want to make more money. Some of them are desperate to make more money. Tye, if you guys don't help us make more money, we're going to have to close the gym. We're going to declare bankruptcy. My wife is going to leave me. Like real desperate, full-on situations. And when I ask, cool, that sounds like you're serious about this. Show me the bit of paper with the plan on it to make more money. That's the end of it. There's no plan. There's no, it's they've read, what was that? The Gift, The Universe, what was that book where if you will things, they will happen?
Never read it.
So you shouldn't. It's terrible. Someone comment below, what was that dumbass book? But anyway, that's how they're approaching it.
Yeah.
If I stress about it enough and if I hope for it, maybe that'll do. But where's the plan? When have you actually sat down and gone, all right, fuck it. Here's the 5 steps, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Here's the 5 steps to actually make money. Not just complain and be scared about it.
Yeah, and I've been there. I've been paralyzed by situations that I've found myself in. Like you get to a point where you're like, oh man, there's no money in the account. I've got to pay the staff. I've got to pay this, and you just become paralyzed. And it's so easy to just kind of sit in that fear and that disappointment and that kind of hopelessness. But like you say, got to kind of dig deep and find it within you to come up with a plan to get out of the mess you're in.
100%.
Yeah. So
the other problem as well is I think a lot of people, because we're fortunately and sometimes unfortunately in a passion-based business. We love what we do. It defines us. We're not just selling vacuums. We don't really love vacuums, and vacuums aren't who we are. We're selling fitness. We're selling CrossFit. That's who we are, and we believe in it. And so a lot of people feel guilty about making money off that. And if they are going to make money, they want to make just enough. The idea of making more, especially if they're doing well already, or if their head's above water, the idea of making more is, I'm taking money off these people that care about me and love me. I feel guilty. I feel bad. It's the idea that you can either coach great classes and be an ethical, sound coach, or you can make money, and that the two are mutually exclusive.
yeah, it's the biggest misconception. Like if you are actually going to run a profitable business that's going to be around for the long term, which is what you want because you want to help people for the long term, you need to be making money, and you need to be able to improve what you do. And the only way to do that is to make money. So they're not two different things. They are one and the same. Like if you really care about your members, you'll charge what you're worth. You'll make sure that your business is in place for the long term. If you're constantly on the red line and constantly thinking about, oh man, we might close down soon, that's not what you want. That's not what your members want. Your members want for you to be successful and grow. So yeah, man, they don't have to live separately, those two thoughts.
Yeah. And also you shouldn't worry about making money through nefarious means if you're not a shit person. If you know in your heart of hearts you're not a bad person, which this is why I love working with the CrossFit community and functional fitness and these kind of people versus Globo gyms. There's a lot of shit people in fitness. There's a lot less in the CrossFit world. They still exist, but there's a lot less. if I said to people, hey, here's this way you're going to make an extra 20% or 50% a year revenue, but you're going to have to do this kind of dodgy thing, and okay, one or two of your members might die, but you'll make more money, everyone will tell me to fuck off. They're not interested. So don't be afraid of making money through dodgy ways, because you probably won't do it. You know what I mean? You're probably not that person. So don't put that on yourself.
I think the other thing that I've come across a whole lot is gym owners or CrossFit gym owners or small gym owners seem to be, because they care so much, they can easily get themselves in trouble by overpromising to their staff, overpromising to their members, and just trying to please everyone, keep everyone happy. The members need some more air dynes or some more ski ergs. I care about them, so I'll put them on finance. My staff, they want to earn a full-time wage, but I can only give them 10 hours, so I'll commit to paying them $100 an hour, and they kind of commit to people without the business being able to actually serve that promise, I guess.
For sure.
I think it's a common mistake as well that needs to be addressed. It's just to be a bit more smart on the over-promising.
Yeah, 100%. So let's get into the practical stuff. Now, I want to be clear before we move on, this is not financial advice. I am the last person you should be going to for financial advice. I want to be really clear, and you know this as well as anyone. I'm quite good at making money. I'm very good at keeping money. If you want advice on financial management and you want advice on saving and being responsible with your money, I am not the person to go to. That's what accountants are for. But when it comes to making money, when it comes to back against the wall and finding ways to make money ethically, definitely something we can help with.
Yeah, cool. For sure.
So number one, this is going to seem obvious, but a lot of people get stuck on it. Raise your prices. Right? I can't remember the last time. Actually, I can today at one box, but very rarely does it happen where we see a gym, we look at their price and go, cool, that's what you should be charging. Good work, well done. Let's work on some other stuff. Almost every gym, 1,700 gyms, I think now, they're all undercharging by usually not by like $20 a month, but by $100 a month, by like some ridiculous amount. And this itself comes from self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah, for sure. And at the gym you mentioned just then, although it looked, the amount they had on their website looked like I was like, yeah, that's a good number. Well done, good on you. When I actually spoke to them, I found out that majority of the members actually paying a price from 10 years back. So, I think it's, I think raising prices is an obvious one, but a challenging one mentally for a lot of gyms for some reason.
Absolutely. So let's make it less challenging. Really simple. To raise prices on new members, here's what you do. Raise prices. End of story. Next new member who walks in, whatever you think you're worth, give them that price. If they say yes, give the next person. If they say yes, do that 10 times. If out of the 10 people that you present the new price with, I don't know, let's say 8 of them say yes, congratulations, that's your new price.
I've honestly done that. I made a decision one day I was going to raise my prices. I got a new member walk in the door, and I hadn't changed the price on the website on the back end yet, but I was going to do that week. And I thought, you know what? That's what I'm changing to. Let's put it out there. I put it out there to them before it was actually advertised to their price, and they said yes, no worries, and signed up. And I went home and quickly changed it.
Jump back in the office, change the price.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why are we being so cavalier about this? Because they don't know any better, right? Oh, but Tye, what if they're a referral and they've talked to their friends? Look, prices change all the time, right? If you buy an iPhone when it first comes out, and then I buy it 6 months later, the price is different. That's how services and products work. It's no big deal. But when people say to me, I've been thinking for the last 6 months of raising my prices on new members, well, what is there to think about? That, I'll be honest, that's a loser's mentality, right? That's a spider mentality. That which is one of the easiest decisions in business to make, raising prices on new members, if that is holding you down for weeks or months on end, I can't imagine what the actual real decisions you got to make, hiring, firing coaches, dealing with cultural implications, that stuff, that must just cripple you. So if you're thinking of raising your prices on new members, just do it. Just do it.
Yep.
Simple. Raising prices on current members. This is a little bit more involved. You're going to have to earn this. Now, I want to be clear before we get into this. Grandfathering, the idea that whatever someone pays when they first join is what they'll pay for the rest of their life. I wish we could do that. I really do. But it's naive, right? Our prices will go up, therefore their prices have to go up. Otherwise, if you've been open 5 years or 10 years, your margins were already either narrow or non-existent when you first started. So as your prices have gone up over the years, you've either lost those margins and that person is now breaking even, they're not contributing financially to the business at all, or more than likely, you weren't profitable to begin with at that price, and now your costs have gone up, so now that person is costing you money. You're paying for that person to train.
Yeah.
And then how do you explain that to the coaches that you wish you could pay more? How do you explain that to your husband or your wife at home who really needs you to bring in more money to take the stress off the family? You know what I mean? You can't have members costing you money. So first thing to realize about current member price rises is that you cannot grandfather memberships.
No, absolutely not. And I think, you mentioned that, with the current members raising their prices, you're going to have to kind of do a bit of work and earn it. I think, if you are raising the prices on new members that come in, my assumption is that you've improved or your value's increased. And so therefore you've justified that you can actually charge this new price. So therefore, the justification stands for current members as well. I think, it's just separating your business practices with the emotions of the friendships you've built throughout the years, because it's always like and it breaks my heart. I spoke to a gym owner yesterday, and they were in a pretty desperate situation, and they said to me, if only my founding members were paying this price, we'll be doing really well. I was like, well, you got the answer right there. You got the answer right there. You could be doing a lot better tomorrow. If you could put your heart and emotions aside and actually do what's right for the business, which in turn is going to be the right thing for the members as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's really frustrating. And look, this is the problem about the passion-based business, is that we get emotionally invested. One of the biggest skills that you've got to have, I think, in this kind of a business is your ability. Who is it? Andy McNabb. Andy McNabb was an SAS soldier who in the First Gulf War basically got captured by the Iraqis, had the longest escape and evasion. Really cool story. Bravo 20, I think, is the story. But anyway, he put out a book a couple of years ago called The Good Psychopath. And so he's been clinically diagnosed as a psychopath, but not in some scary murdery way. He has offed a lot of people, but that was part of his job. But in the way that he has this ability to be able to completely turn off those emotions and just be entirely clinical, right? And that's what I say we have to be sometimes as this business. We've got to be that empathy, that relationship-based person, and then occasionally we've got to know that, okay, it's time to be the good psychopath. It's time to turn those off, look at the numbers, pretend like you're an accountant who has no emotional attachment to the business, and make the right decisions. Yeah,
that's been one of the biggest challenges for me as a business owner. I'm very relational, very pleasing people, doing the right thing by them, and it's but it's also been the most rewarding thing financially and business-wise, learning more and more how to just, like you say, you have to take that clinical approach. I think the other thing that people are scared of when it comes to their current members is obviously losing people. Hey, if I raise my price to that, I'm going to lose a bunch of members. And they don't actually sit down to do the math to go, hey, look, how many members do I have to lose for the difference between the price rise and the members leaving to actually be negatively affecting the business? Yeah. I've never seen anyone lose enough members to not come out on top.
Absolutely.
Come out on top with the price rise. So, I think just actually taking the next step and going, okay, let's actually run the numbers. Let's, again, put the emotions aside and see what the numbers come out as. And you always lose less members than you think. So we normally I say to them, look, expect about a 10% drop off in members, and hardly ever do they have 10% drop off of members. So
we've seen a lot of people over the years with zero.
Absolutely.
I've been sent screenshots from box owners where their members have sent messages saying something to the effect of, look, hey, we don't like price rises, but you're worth it. Good on you for making the decision.
Yeah, exactly.
So that brings me to, the next step. So now you've gone through the process. You've realized I have to add value for current members. I have to prepare myself mentally, because if you don't prepare yourself mentally for a price rise on current members, you'll go into it apologetic, and you cannot be apologetic. You can't be, guys, look, I'm sorry. I know this sucks, but we got a price rise because if we don't, we're going to close. Like, fucking done, gone, rats leaving the sinking ship. That is when you will lose more than 10% of people. So you've got to be able to sit back, justify it, and go, you know what? Actually, when I look at the list of value adds that we've made over the last, however long since we did a price rise, whether it's a year or 5 years or 10 years, when I look at that and I look at the price rise that we're going to make, that's justified. Then when I look at the net effect on the business, even if we lose, we have to lose 26 people before we actually lose money. So that I'm comfortable with. You know what? Fuck it. Now I can communicate from a position of confidence and say, hey guys, look, I know a price rise is never a nice thing, but it's the reality of doing business. Our prices go up, so we have to raise our prices. What I do want you guys to know is that we've done everything in our power to increase the value and make sure that we give you guys more for more money. Here's a few examples of that, ... And we've done everything in our power to keep this price rise to a minimum by lowering our costs on the back end, and also by passing on the majority of the price rise to new members. That one line is so effective that I like simplicity. I would love everybody to just be paying one price because that's simple. And, I like a simple business. But if I have a tiered price, one price rise for current members, one price rise just a little bit higher, not it doesn't have to be a crazy amount. For new members, that lets me use that line in my video and in my email communications. And that alone, people going, oh, fucking price rise. And then me saying, look, I know it sucks, but please know that we've done everything to make this as small as possible on you. We've passed the majority of the rise responsibility on to new members. That softens the blow a ton.
Yeah,
really
agree.
Does. So how you communicate it is essentially what we're talking about here. You have to communicate it from a point of confidence. You have to communicate it via video. They need to see your face and hear your voice, which is why you have to be confident. You can pretend to be confident in an email. That's easy. But you have to stand up straight, shoulders back, look the camera in the eye, look the camera in the iris, I guess, and explain, look, this is what we're doing. We know it's never nice, but it is necessary. Here's why it's necessary. Here's what we've done to build value. Here's what we've done to reduce the costs on you. And then the last sentence we always use is, if you have any concerns or there's anything you'd like to discuss, here's my personal phone number, or you can come up and speak to me anytime after class. If someone's upset, I don't want them holding it in, right? I want them to express it. And so, number one, if someone's upset, I made the decision. It's my business. If they want to yell and scream, which, by the way, they never do, but if they do, that should be on me, right? But secondly, I don't want any whinging and bitching in class. So if we're both members and, we're warming up together or whatever, and I say, oh, man, can you believe these guys are fucking raising? Why are they raising prices? That's bullshit, man. You're sitting there thinking, well, in the video, Tye said, if you've got a problem, go talk to him. So why are you telling me? Go talk to him.
Yeah, exactly.
I look like a bitch, basically.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how we communicate it. It's very important. That by the way, the number one determining factor of whether your price rise on current members goes well or not is how you communicate it. It doesn't. If you communicate it well, your price rise, it might only need to be $5 a week.
Yeah.
But it could be $20 a week.
And I think when it goes wrong is when you actually haven't added the value. So words are great and confidence is great, but if you actually haven't added any value and you're raising a price just because you need to make more money, the members aren't dumb. They know that things haven't changed around here, So, we always advise, if you are planning a price rise, plan it for 6 months in advance and do everything you can between now and that date to add as much value so you actually have the backing, and you have the confidence. You want to arrive at a place where you're almost like, man, we're getting ripped off here. We're providing such an awesome service, and these guys are not paying what they should be. You should almost be, you should have that kind of mad that you're not getting what you are worth.
100%.
So yeah,
100%. We were planning, by the way, guys, for this to be a short, less than 30-minute podcast, but so far we're 20 minutes.
Point number one,
and we're still on point number one. But anyway, you guys get the idea. We just wanted to make sure that you had the tools to actually be able to enact a price rise and understand the positions of where you need to come from. So that's number one, is raise your fucking prices. Okay, point number two, increase your average client value, right? So on top of your membership, we've got a little bit of, hopefully, we've got a little bit of extra money that people are spending on other things, whether it's in your pro shop, whether it's water or fit aid, or whether it's t-shirts or skipping ropes or any apparel or whatever it is, private coaching, that kind of stuff. It all adds up, and that's where we get our average client value. So your average client value can be measured by your total revenue for the month divided by your active members for that month. Only active members, by the way, because they're the people spending the money. So I need to know who's spending money, how much they're spending. And this gives you your average client value. So what we want is for the gap between your average membership and your average client value to be at a minimum, and I'm just going to talk in US dollars because that's easy, to be a minimum of $25 US, right, per member. So take a second, off the top of your head how many members you've got, times that by 25. That's how much on top of memberships you should be getting a month minimum, right? And most people aren't getting that, and they stress out and think that that's a lot of money. But think about it this way. I want to be clear about one thing. I'm not trying to squeeze more out of my members, right? I'm just trying to move the money that they're spending somewhere else, right? The money that they're spending at Lululemon and that they're spending at a supplement store, and just move it back into my business, right? So let's focus, just to make it really quick, let's just focus on the pro shop because, there's a lot of other ways that we can make money, but the pro shop is the most consistent way. So our goal for boxers with their pro shop, with few exceptions, depending on where they're located, is for them to pay their rent with their pro shop, right? And a lot of people kind of see that, our rent is $60,000 a year or something crazy. That's not crazy, but that's crazy to think that we could pay that with our pro shop. But I want to give you guys an example. And this is the difference between stocking and selling in your pro shop, right? Stocking is when you got shit on a shelf. Selling is when you actively make it available to people and present it in a way that they want to buy. If we just take one product, right, your recovery drink, so your Fit Aid, your NoCo, your what's it called, Kill Cliff, these kind of drinks, right? Let's say I've got 200 members. Out of that 200 members, I can create a habit with a quarter of them where a class is associated with that drink, right? We've all got those things where if we do one thing, we have to do another, right? They go together. So for example, I very rarely drink Coke, but if I'm having a pizza, you better believe I'm fucking having Coke, right? They go together since I was a kid.
Go to the movies, have popcorn.
Exactly, right? So if we can make, I have this feeling, this endorphin rush and the sweat of a workout, that is followed by that tang of a Fit Aid or the sweetness of a Kill Cliff. Right, if we can get just a quarter of our members, 200 members, so 50 of our members, to every single class buy a Fit Aid. It's just something they do on their way out, right? It's a habitual thing, right? That will add an extra $39,000 to your pro shop sales every year. 39 grand, right? Let's round it up, call it 40. 40 grand just through a quarter of your members taking Fit Aid. Now, what if another quarter get water, right? This is why if you sell water and you have a drinking fountain, you're out of your fucking mind, okay? You want to sell that water, right? And why shouldn't you? If people really want, they can fill up their water bottles from the tap. You know, we're not stopping anybody, but don't shoot yourself in the foot by having a fucking drinking fountain and selling water. So let's say another quarter buy a water every time, right? So that's going to be a little bit less than the Fit Aid. So let's call that, I don't know, $25,000 a year. Right. And then, so these, we're just talking about the periodical consumables, right? The habitual consumables. If you've got those little protein balls, right, then, you know, what percentage of people can you get into the habit? But again, the point is you have to get them into the habit of buying this stuff. And we haven't even touched on supplements. We haven't touched on apparel. We haven't touched, just through something as simple as Kill Cliff, Fit Aid, NoCo, there's an extra 40 grand a year in revenue. You're absolutely mad if you don't. Don't just stock this stuff. You have to sell it. Get people hooked on it. I love NoCo, the brand that we've seen in Europe a lot, because I think they're up to 4,782 flavors at this point, right? They're always releasing
so many
flavors. And I love that because you constantly got something new for members to try,
yeah.
right? You can put, you know, every time a new flavor comes out of any of this stuff, guys, you should be sacrificing a whole carton of it to give out free samples to people. And a lot of people might not like it, but some people will. And those people who weren't on a habitual sale will now be, right? So just something as simple as that. Again, we could talk. I could talk for
yeah. And I mean, if you're, you know, if the pro shop is not your thing, like at my gym, we're not putting a massive focus on pro shops, but things like specialty courses and private coaching. So, you know, if they're going somewhere else to get some input for their gymnastics or Olympic lifting, why aren't you running a 6-week Olympic lifting course? Or why aren't you running a gymnastics course that they can spend the money at rather than going to the gymnastics coach somewhere else, you know? So I'm a massive fan of always having something advertised at least, you know, try and run a 6-week to 8-weekly specialty course of some sort. And it's a bigger ticket item as well. So you don't need to be selling hundreds of cans. You have to sign up 12 people to this course that you've created, you know? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And notice, guys, Wykie said private coaching or, you know, 6 weeks set time, finite block training type stuff. Yeah. We're not talking about adding classes, right? We're not talking about adding specialty classes and giving them away for free. That's a completely other subject, and it's a terrible idea. So increase your average client value. Just imagine if you could get your average client value to a minimum of $25 US per member per month. What would that add to your business? And then again, we've got plenty of boxes that are doing a lot more than 25, you know, doing the 50s plus a month. You know, what kind of stuff does that add? So there is more money. And please understand, guys, we're talking about getting your members to take the money they're spending somewhere else and spend it with us. We're not trying to squeeze blood out of the stone. All right. Number 3 way to make more cash money is cut costs, right? It's easy to look at the money coming in and try and increase that. But at the end of the day, what we're really talking about is profits, right? I've seen boxes that are, you know, $1 million revenue a year and they're losing money because their costs are just out of fucking control. So cut costs. Look at everything. Look at, so to start with, print out your bank statement, go through and highlight every single cost and then question it. Do we really need this? right? We signed up for premium Spotify. Do we actually use premium Spotify? We signed up for Romwad, right, for the whole box package, but then we never did. We never used it because no one gave a shit. We signed up for, I'm guilty of this. Every social media platform, helpy fucking sign up thing. It's only $4.99 a month, but I'm signed up for 26 of them, right? That adds up.
Yeah.
So that's step one, is to get rid of that. Step two is utilities, right? So take a look at your electricity company. Are there other companies around that can do a better price, can do a better deal on your electricity? Take a look at your phone. Do you really need a phone line, or can you do a VoIP phone line, right? So an internet-based phone line. That's always going to be cheaper. Renegotiate everything you can. Renegotiate the deal you have with the supplement company, right? So say, look, we're going to order 20 units every month consistently, standing order for 20 units, but because it's a standing order and it's going to happen every month, can you give us the price break for 100 units, right? The worst thing is they say no and you're paying the same as you were yesterday. Who cares? One of the biggest ones that blows me away is lease negotiations, right? You've done your 5-year lease, you're going to stay in the same building, and so it's time to sign a new lease, and everyone just accepts that their lease is going to go up. Well, what's the market done? Firstly, the market might have dropped, whether globally or in your specific area. So the prices of everything around are now lower because there's more availability. So you should pay less. Secondly, you're a proven tenant now, right? You're a safe option. If you cancel, they have to go out and find a new tenant, and that person, they might stick around, they might not. The owner also has to pay fees to the real estate agent. Like it's a lot easier if they keep you in. And this obviously isn't in every case. Sometimes they want you gone, they want to redevelop, that kind of stuff. That's fine. But yeah, are you trying, have you sat down and said, you know what, maybe it makes sense for us to buy the building? What we're paying in rent, we could save an extra $300 a month just by buying the building. Are we in a position to do that? Maybe, let's do it. So the point is, there are a million different ways to cut costs. Now, notice I haven't talked about, getting rid of services, right? Buying cheaper toilet, buying one-ply toilet paper from Costco, paying your coaches less. We're definitely not talking about that. Everything is cutting costs without cutting the service to members.
Yeah, 100%. It's an easy one. I think we just feel like there's more important things to attend to, and it's just laziness that we just can't be asked printing out a statement and going through it. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be a significant thing, but it is. Like our subscription list is just massive, and half the things we don't use. So yeah, it's a good practice to go through that.
Absolutely.
From time to time.
All right, quickly before we move on to the fourth way of making more cash money, really quickly, guys, I want to let you know that we've got seminars coming up. I'm very excited about the seminar series this year. We've got Manchester on the 29th and 30th of June, Amsterdam on the 6th and 7th of July, Vancouver on the 17th of 18th, and Mexico City, which you're coming to, on the 24th and 25th of August. That's going to be
can't wait.
Johannesburg on the 2nd and 3rd of November, and Cape Town on the 9th and 10th of November, which you're coming to, and most of our team are going to be at as well. Oh, it's going to be a killer.
A sick trip, man.
It's going to be a great year, man.
Bring it.
Also, at least on the Manchester and Amsterdam seminars coming up later this month, Remy Meyer from Max Out Your Gym, the only marketing guru that I actually am willing to listen to because he's not full of shit. He's going to be there as well and present the marketing section at least those first two seminars, maybe some of the others. So definitely you don't want to miss out on that. All right, let's jump into number 4, which is follow up.
Yeah, man.
Follow up, follow up. Follow up, follow up, fucking follow up.
They came to you, man. They came to you for your service. It's okay to follow them up 5 to 10 times.
Not only is it okay to follow them up, it's rude to not follow them up.
Yeah, I agree. It is rude.
And I think this is a big problem, right? A lot of people forget. They think that the start of this person's journey was when your journey started with them, right? So they think, oh, the phone rings and go. And this is the start of the journey. But they've been sitting at home for weeks, months, right? Looking it up. A friend said something about CrossFit, and so they Googled it, and then they looked, and then they videoed, and then they got excited, and then they got scared, and then next Monday they were ready to go, but then they had a muffin, and maybe next Monday I'll get started. And then they thought about it, and they researched, and they looked a little bit more, and they didn't like the look of that guy's face, so their process could be weeks and months long. We've all had these members who come to us and say, oh yeah, I've been thinking about coming for a few months, but I was just kind of scared.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've gone through that whole journey, and then they send you, they give you a phone call, and you miss the phone call and you don't bother getting back, or you don't get back in time. They send you an email and you don't reply to that. They send you a Facebook message or an Instagram DM and you don't get back to that. Is not just bad business, it's rude.
Yeah, and they chose you over everyone else. They've researched this thing, they've looked at other gyms, and they obviously saw something that you're putting out that made them decide these guys are obviously my option to explore to start with. So, to then drop the ball at that point is just sad. It sucks.
It's a bummer, man. And a lot of people, the number one thing that people come to us for is marketing, right? And they don't understand that they're barking up the wrong tree, because marketing's not what they want, right? What they want is more members, and more members isn't actually what they want. What they want is more money. But again, and more money isn't what they want. What they want is more profits. But people are just too scared to say that, so they just say, "Oh, marketing." But if we did zero marketing at most boxes and just got their inquiry processes better, and then in turn, the rest of the chain, so their intro and their on-ramp and their sign-up and their retention and that stuff, but just their inquiry processes, you'd have more members at the end of the year. You'd have more money.
Yeah, 100%. I get so angry when I work with my clients and their phone ring. This happens often. I've got a Skype call with a client and their phone rings and they just kill it.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, you didn't even look at the phone. That could have been an inquiry. We can talk a bit longer, than our set aside time. Answer the phone.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So treat every inquiry with the respect it deserves. Follow up. The fortune is in the follow up. And a saying that I really like is politely persistent, right? Just keep going. When do you stop? When they say go away, right? Because again, right now they're not a member. They cannot be less of a member than they currently are. You cannot lose this game. You only have room to win, right? Either they become a member or they continue not being a member and nothing changed. So follow up. It's incredibly important. I get so pissed off when people leave money on the table like that. And by the way, how often should we follow up? Once a week, once a month, once every quarter, 2 times every 6 years? No, 24 hours, right? So they get in touch with us. The goal is within an hour, we're reaching back out to them, right? Strike while the fire's hot. And then if we don't hear back from them, 24 hours later, all right? And the 2 words we want to use is still interested. Hey, just checking you're still interested in, and then not just in CrossFit or in what we do, but try and if they gave you some hint, right? Oh, I just want to get, my bikini body back. Hey, just wanted to double check if you're still interested in getting your bikini body back, right? And then 48 hours later, right? So one day again, and again. And if after a couple of days they haven't gone back to you, hey, just want to check if everything's okay, right? Something to follow up. Keep going until they say yes or they say fuck off, right? And
so good.
People are so scared of rejection.
I don't hear much of that last minute because all I can imagine is you saying that you want to get your bikini body back.
I do.
And so, so I couldn't really get my mind to stop thinking about that picture.
Dude, you should have seen in my 20s, I had the bitch in bikini body. A lot of people don't know this when I was a little girl. All right, next up, the last one is number 5, get more members. No shit, right? Of course, get more members, Tye. I want you to specifically get the right members, right? So you could go out and, learn how to market, right? Do the marketing, which is time, resource. Spend money on the marketing. Hope it works. It probably won't. You'll have to, trial and error again and again and again and again. And then your conversion rate will be small and these people will be foreign. And, don't get me wrong, marketing works, right? But it's a process. Or you could go into Zen Planner or Whatify or whatever you use. You could go list of X members who've been gone for, say, 3 months or 6 months or more. And then you could go through that list, grab your phone out, send them a video message or a voice message, not a text message, not an email, right? The point of this is showing that you care, right? Not showing, you don't want to send them a dear first name. We miss you. That's bullshit, obviously. So send them a video message, send them a voice message. Let them know. This is the exact script that we use, right? The exact kind of banter that we use. Hey, Johnny, hope you're doing well, man. It's been a while since we've seen each other. Just wanted to see how your training was going and remind you that you've got 2 weeks of membership on credit. So when you're ready, we'd love to have you back. If you need, we can do a quick 15-minute one-on-one just to sharpen up some skills. But anyway, buddy, let me know how you're doing. Let me know about your training, and I look forward to working with you soon, right? So I start and I end with a coach's perspective, right? Let me know about your training. Hey, how's your training going? Number one, because that opens and closes from a point of integrity, and I'm not just trying to be a salesman and get them back in. I'm your coach. I care. But also because how is their training going? It's not, right? It's a good way to remind you. Go, hey, I hope your training's going well. And they kind of go like, oh, fuck, it's not. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting on my ass, right? Then you have to give them an offer that's worth coming back in, right? So the 2 weeks of, now notice I said 2 weeks of membership on credit. I didn't say 2 weeks free, because as soon as it's free, I lose value, right? So 2 weeks on credit. Just a reminder, by the way, So I'm not making it a big deal like, hey, we're running a deal for the month of September, right? That's salesy. Hey, just a reminder. And by the way, this is something we tell people when they cancel, but if this is a new strategy to you, saying just a reminder makes them think like, oh, I must have missed that. That's obviously a thing that they do, and I missed it, but cool, okay. And if you go, Tye, I'm not giving away 2 weeks, cool, whatever. I think it's absolutely worth it, but give away 1 week, give away one class, do whatever, but give something to get them back in the gym. And then if you want, you can add in the extra bonus of, a 15-minute one-on-one skill session, because what people are worried about, ex-members, is number one, just the suck, the investing money to come back in and have their ass kicked is kind of a hard deal. So we give them the 2 weeks. But also the skill, the high skill stuff. So they don't want to come back in and feel stupid, right? It's kind of start from zero. So if we give them a quick 15-minute and just go through, just sharpen them up again on some of the high skill movements, a lot of them appreciate it. And it's 15 fucking minutes. I guarantee your time investment, not to mention your money investment, on getting a new member, a completely fresh member through marketing, is going to be a lot more than just 15 minutes and a SMS message or 100%. A Facebook message.
And the great thing about these guys are, they already know culture. They've trained with you before. So there's a lot of time saved in the onboarding of a new member, explaining how the booking system works and how a culture works. They already know all that stuff. So they are just, prime candidates to step back into your gym, So, it's awesome.
They're the perfect member.
Yeah.
When we market, we're always going, how do we market to the perfect member? You have them.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
And the process is done.
Yeah.
You can send a message today and by tonight they can be a member. And that's it. You're done. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I've done this. I've done this, and it's very much a numbers game. So for us, it was about a 10% kind of success rate in getting people back. So it really just turns out to be a numbers game. The more people you get in touch with, the more ex-members you follow up, the better the result, obviously. So, we always say, and I think you ran a challenge maybe this week on Instagram, get in touch with 100 members in 1 week, just go 20 members a day, go hard on it. It doesn't take that long. Those video messages take, 15, 30 seconds. Do that 20 times each day for 5 days. You can get in touch with 100 members and get 10 of those back. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of members, yeah. Our current record, by the way, guys, for this within 1 week is 26 members back. And it's not because they got in touch with 100. I think they got in touch with like 300 and something. Right?
That's insane.
Just imagine that, 26 members. So next week, you have 26 new members. You don't have to run an intro. You don't have to run an on-ramp. You don't have to try and explain and sell what we do. They just walk in. They fit into class. You're good to go. You're absolutely out of your mind. So I would say do not spend a second of your time, energy, money on marketing, traditional marketing, until you've at least done this. And by the way, I've been talking about this for a long time, 5-6 years. Why? And out of every, 100 people that I tell about it, maybe one does it. Why? This is money on the table, It stressed me out. It kept me awake at night. And then I realized it's the ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend factor, right? We treat, we were a service provider, and then we stopped showing enough value, or their life style changed, or something, something in the value versus cost kind of thing. It got out of whack, and they decided not to come back. Cool. They moved on with their life. But to us, it hurt, right? We were scorned. And so the idea when we see their name come up, it's like running into an ex-girlfriend in the street. And you're like, oh, shit, hey, how you doing? And you don't ask them back out, because what if they say no again? That's horrible, right? But you've got to get over that. You've got to be the good psychopath and realize that's not where they're coming from. They moved on with life. They don't have any bad feelings towards you. And if they do, you know it, because it would have ended terribly. But just reach out. And again, right now you're at 0. They're not a member. The worst thing that happens is they continue to not be a member, and you're on their mind. Maybe they never come back, but maybe they talk about you. Maybe when one of their friends goes, man, I need to sort my fucking life out and get fit, they go, oh, what was that gym I used to go to 3 years ago? Fucking CrossFit ABC. They called me the other day, actually. You should go check them out, right? Like, that's the worst thing that can happen, from you pointing your phone at yourself, saying a few things. And I know it's uncomfortable, and I know it's awkward, and I don't care, right? If you go, oh, man, I really want to make more money, otherwise we're going to go bankrupt. I really want to pay my coaches because that's what they deserve. I really want to give my wife the support that she deserves. Oh, but video messages are uncomfortable. Then you just don't get to be in business.
Yeah, that's right.
For long, at least.
You know what I'd love to know? I'd love to know how many people have gone through your gym, how long have you been open for, and how many people have gone through your gym. You'll be pleasantly surprised if you go into your reports and look at ex-members, how long that list really is. I was very surprised to see how many people we've put through some form of fitness for
Yeah.
a period of time. It's a lot of people that come through your doors you don't realize.
I think that's the other reason why a lot of people don't want to do this, is they don't want to face the reality that like every gym thinks that they keep everyone. Oh, we have a few people leave here and there, but never for any bad reasons. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Right. Have we still got this drop? No, we don't.
No.
Damn it, we deleted it. But absolute bullshit, right? People leave because the value that you once offered them is no longer there, right? It might not be, something terrible and they throw their hands up in the air, but they left because you stopped giving them value. So show them that you have value. Look at that list. And again, I've seen these lists that are 400 or 500 people long. Like if you've been open 10 years, there's a pretty good chance that's a fucking big list. And that's okay. That just means that it's a bigger number of people. Just keep sending messages, keep going back until you get through everybody. And then, by the way, the cool thing is if you did 20 a day, right, even if you did this back-to-back nonstop and you'd been open for a few years, it would probably take you 3 or 4 months to get through the list. So when you get through the list, you go back to the start of the list and you just do it again and again and again until people say fuck off. And if you did that, I would hazard a guess, especially if you've been around a while, you'd never need to market a day in your life.
Yeah.
Get all the members you'd ever want. And by the way, guys, when someone quits, this is why we have 2 concepts. When they quit, number 1, love them on the way out the way you loved them on the way in, right? And number 2, in my mind, unless they're moving or they died, they're not quitting, right? It's not goodbye. It's goodbye for now, right? I entirely expect them to come back one day. That is my mentality. That has got to be a winner's mentality. It's the same as when the phone rings. I entirely expect that person to sign up because why wouldn't they? You know what I mean? So when someone cancels, don't treat them like they're dead to you. Keep them in the group. As long as they're not a toxic person you never want to see again, keep them in your group, keep connected with them, keep sending them out emails, shoot them a message every now and then, show them that you care, and then shoot them one of these messages every 6 months. Even if it's not right for them now, even if you send this message today, doesn't mean that their situation won't change in 6 months and they won't come back. These are members for free, guys.
100%. I think that played, by the way. I think our thing just doesn't turn up.
Oh,
so I think that sound effect would have played.
Oh, there we go.
It's good.
You guys just got to hear some crystal air. Let's try it again.
Is it though?
There we go. Beautiful crystal air, in case you guys don't know. Now you know. Alrighty, guys. So there you go. That's our 5 quick ways to make more cash money. Number 1, raise your prices. Number 2, increase your average client value. Number 3, cut costs. Number 3.5, come to my seminars. Number 4, follow up. And number 5, get more members, specifically ex-members.
Boom.
Good times, man. That went
Good
a lot
topic.
longer, but I think we covered some good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Love
It's
it, guys. Guys, if there's anything else you want us to talk about, again, we're just kind of talking shit and hanging out on these podcasts. So if there's anything specific you want us to know about, please let us know in the comments below. Or
We do read
above.
them, by the way. We'd love to know, how these things go when you implement them and try them out and what the results are. So please get back in the comments and let us know.
100%, guys. 100%. Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Boom.
We'll see you guys next time. Have a great week. Bye.